What game are we really playing? Have you ever wondered why some companies seem unstoppable while others crumble under pressure? Why do some relationships thrive while others fall apart? Why do some nations endure and others fade into history? The answer lies in one simple question. What kind of game are you playing? Back in the 1980s, a philosopher named James Carse introduced a revolutionary idea. He said there are two types of games in life, finite games and infinite games. And understanding which one you're playing could completely change the way you live, work, and lead. Finite games, playing to win. Imagine this. You're in a football match. There are clear rules, set players, and a defined objective. Score more points than the other team, and you win. Once the final whistle blows, the game is over. This is a finite game. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And crucially, it has winners and losers. But now let me ask you this. What happens when you try to win at something that doesn't end? Infinite games, playing to keep playing. Here's where it gets fascinating. An infinite game doesn't have fixed rules or a finish line. The players change. The rules evolve. And the goal? It's not to win. It's to keep the game going. Think about life. You can't win at healthcare, education, or marriage, and you definitely can't win at business. Yet if you listen to how most business leaders talk, you'd think otherwise. We're going to beat the competition, they say. We'll be number one. But here's the catch. Number one, according to whom, and for how long? When you play an infinite game with a finite mindset, things fall apart. You lose trust, you lose cooperation, and you lose the ability to innovate. What happens when a finite mindset meets an infinite game? Let me tell you a story. During the Vietnam War, the United States, arguably the most powerful military force in the world at the time, entered the conflict to win. But North Vietnam wasn't playing to win. They were playing to survive. One side was trying to end the war, the other was willing to endure it forever. Guess who ran out of resources and resolve first? This is the clash of finite and infinite players. It doesn't just happen in wars. It happens in marriages, businesses, friendships, and even politics. The finite player burns out, while the infinite player outlasts them. The business battlefield. Circuit City versus Best Buy. Now let's bring this closer to home. When Circuit City went bankrupt, did Best Buy win? Of course not. Business isn't about defeating your rivals. It's about staying in the game. But companies that adopt a finite mindset, focusing on quarterly earnings, market share, and being the best, inevitably collapse under the weight of their own short-sightedness. The irony, businesses aren't even playing the same game. While Microsoft executives spent hours obsessing over how to beat Apple, Apple's leaders were focused on something completely different, helping teachers teach and students learn. Microsoft was playing to win. Apple was playing to keep creating. The infinite mindset, a lesson from the Zune. Here's the perfect example of what separates finite and infinite thinking. Microsoft once created the Zune to compete with Apple's iPod. It was slick, elegant, and technologically superior. After a Microsoft summit, I told an Apple executive, "The Zune is so much better than the iPod." Without missing a beat, he replied, "I have no doubt." And that was it. No defensiveness, no argument. Apple wasn't interested in beating Microsoft's Zune. They were focused on improving their own products, their own culture, and their own vision. This is what infinite-minded players understand. Sometimes the competition has the better product, but that's not the game you're playing. Are you playing the right game? Infinite games require a completely different approach to leadership. It's not about winning, it's about growing, improving, outlasting. To play the infinite game well, leaders need 5 essential tools: a just cause, a purpose so inspiring you'd make sacrifices for it; trusting teams, a space where people feel safe to be honest, take risks, and collaborate; a worthy rival, someone who pushes you to become better; existential flexibility, the courage to adapt when the future demands it; the courage to lead, the strength to make tough decisions and embrace change. The secret to thriving in an infinite game leadership isn't a checklist, it's a lifestyle. It's about listening, learning, and constantly improving. It's about building trust, fostering innovation, and focusing on what truly matters. Because in an infinite game, there's no finish line. The only question that matters is this: how will you keep playing?